Hello, this is Healing Art. We will be doing tape painting landscape today. My name is Miss Amanda. I'm here with the Clayton County Library System Riverdale branch. And let me show you what we do need. We will need a canvas, but you can totally use the poster board if that's what you have. I would not use plain paper because we are going to be using another new tool, which we haven't used before, tape, masking tape. This is green, but you can use any color. You don't want to use Scotch tape that sticks too hard or box tape. You really need the masking tape. Now they do have an art type that's more expensive, but literally you can use the regular masking tape that you get from Home Depot, the 97-cent roll. Again, we will be painting, so I do have my paint brushes, different sizes. There is a medium size and I have a lot of small ones. I have a couple different types of acrylic paint because it dries faster. Now I do have these tubes. These tubes have a lot more pigment in them, so you want to use maybe a little bit more water, but I'm using them with this kind of acrylic paint, which as you can tell, look at the size. This already has a lot of the water already in it. So I'm mixing them. I may not have to use too much water, but if you're using these by yourself, you're going to use more water. And then I just have some craft paints, silver and gold, again acrylic, and we will be starting by painting on our board. Okay, so I'm going to use the poster board to start out, and then we're going to go back to our board. Okay, so first we're going to start with our gradient. Now that's going to be two different colors. We're going to start with the gray and white. Now, even though we have a white background, we want to use the white because when you let it dry to put the paint on top of it, if it's just bare, the tape will stick worse to that and it's going to peel, it's going to make it not look good. So you need, even though it's a white background, we're going to paint over it with the white. Okay, so we're going to take our bigger brush and I'm going to put a little bit of white out and a little bit of gray. And from the bottom, we're going to take our brush and saturate it. I know, and get our darker color on the bottom. Okay, so I'm putting that to help with my camera, guys. You don't have to have the tape there. So it's going to be the bottom. Let me just kind of move that guy. And see how we have the darkness here. Now with the same brush, we're not going to put it in any water. We're going to go straight into the white and pull out our middle to make our middle tone. So this is kind of just like painting tones here. So we're going to go from our darkest to a nice middle tone. And then now you will wash out your brush. And then just take the white and we're going to put white at the top. Just white. So it goes from white And see, just come on down to make sure it gets all unblended because you want your colors blended together. So we have our white, middle tone, and then our darkest tone. Once that goes over, you're going to put even more silver on your brush and come up because we want that to be very dark. And we're going to work that in. Perfect. So it's gradient from the lighter tones to the darker. So now that we have that, you would let it dry. And once it dries, here we go. By the magic of TV, I already have one dried. Okay. So I'm going to take my masking tape and I'm going to take sections of this off. Let me try to put these here. Okay. All right, so you can see that we have our gradient going on. I have my tape. I'm going to tape down lines here. So I'm going to take my tape and get it about the size, tear it off, and I'm just going to eye this. Now you can take a ruler if you're that kind of person. I'm not. I'm going to eye it. So I'm going to about the size of the tape, put different lines. So that's about the size of the tape. This part will be covered up. Then I'm going to do one that's open and another one that's covered up around eyeing it, just eyeing it, trying to make it as straight as possible. There we go. The nice thing, see how that masking tape just comes up? It ain't gonna happen like that with Scotch tape. It would actually, some of the Scotch tape or box tape would take up the paint that you already have down. So the nice thing about working with the masking tape is you have a little bit of play room with it. Okay. And it's okay if it gets a little wrinkles in it, as long as it's around the same size. This should be the last piece. So on my board, I was able to get about 5 strips. And you do want to make sure that they're tight on your board because we're going to paint on top of this and you don't want it to be loose and have the paint get underneath it because it ruins the effect. So go ahead and take the time and make sure the tape's on there pretty good. And now we're going to come in with our other colors. And I'm going to do a nice dark blue, a medium blue, and that really dark, other dark blue that you saw this one. So, and a little bit of white, which I already have on my plate. So, okay. So I've got my white, medium blue, dark blue, and really dark blue. Okay, so I'm going to come in with this medium brush, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come in, take some white, and just up and down here. And you can get it on top of the tape, it doesn't matter. A little bit more white down. Okay. Up and down strokes. And now we're going to go into our medium blue and pull that up and down all the way over. Okay, I'm going to take another brush that's dry and come in and work these colors together a little bit. Blend to where the light blue is on top and it works into the medium blue. Okay. All right. Ooh. Once you get it blended, and this is the fun time, so you can take your time with this because this is actually super fun. Now we're going to go into our darker blue down here and go all the way across with it. You can go back and forth too. And now blend that up into the medium hue. There we go. That looks nice. And you can bring it on down. But we are going to put that last darker color with there. I'm going to come back in, wash this brush off a little bit, and come back in. It's a little wet now. Yes, and we're going to blend those colors together and make a little bit more. Ooh, yeah, I like that. Okay, I need a dry brush again. If your brushes get too wet, don't be afraid to just grab another brush. And yes. Okay, now we're going to cut down, and we've got this darkest blue for the bottom right here. And I'm going to wet my brush. I may even put in some of this medium. Mix that together to my dark, dark blue. So that was that one that came out of the tube, but now look how loose it is that I added water to it. And I'm gonna get it all on my brush and come here to the bottom and add the darkest hue. Okay, so we'll pull this up a little bit. All right, so now we have our little ombre, our gradient color on this. I am going to take one more time with a dry brush and kind of make sure all my canvas is covered and blended, because once I pull this tape up, it would be hard to go back and fix that. Okay, so we're going to let it dry for a minute. It doesn't have to be too, well, you know what, this dries really fast, and it doesn't have to be too dry. To pull this up, you're going to take your tape and slowly pull it up. Now take your finger, as long as there's no paint on your finger, hold it there and pull it like you're pulling off a Band-Aid. Okay, so if you get paint on your hands, don't touch the white spot or little gray background, because you don't want to get blue there. So make sure if you're touching, that's the finger that has nothing on it, because you don't want to ruin the illusion. Well, this one from the side. Ooh. Okay, look how cool that is. And you can use this technique, maybe we'll do it again, where you can make diamonds, you can make shapes on your page. Now, to me, just that is kind of cool. But we're gonna add some more interest to it by putting a silhouette on the front of it. And you know, one of my favorite silhouettes is trees. So we're gonna go with, I'm gonna go ahead and put these brushes that I used in the water so they don't dry up on me. And I'm gonna get this nice black acrylic and put it on my, take time to get some of this paint off my hands, guys, because I don't want to get it everywhere. And I'm going to take one of my small brushes. This is when I like to have 3 or 4 different small brushes, because we're doing, you know, we're going to do grass on the bottom. Yes, grass on the bottom. And then we're going to pull up a tree. Okay. So also, you may want to go ahead and get your water close, because this is where you'll probably use more water in your paint, because you want it looser to be able to do what you need to do. And I'm going to get me, let's see here. Oh no. Yes, this little flat brush is what I'm looking for. Okay, so I'm going to take, I got my watered down acrylic. See how we got it inky? And that's so it's going to flow good. And I'm just going to go and kind of a not straight line on the bottom and fill that in. That's going to be our forefront. And when you make it inky like that, it may, you may need to do a couple different coats to get it completely opaque. Okay, so there's the shape of our ground, and then I'm going to just go ahead and come in. Don't be afraid, and put in a long line for my tree. So I'll start, I'm going to start up here from a branch and come down and kind of just make it organic. You don't want to go with these straight lines and make your trees straight. You want to have organic lines on top of that because that's going to add interest. So now we're going to just go with that. Now that we have kind of where we're going, we can just fill it in until we get the shapes we are satisfied with. So I'm going to go ahead and pull down this trunk first. And we're going to go back in and put some grass in down there too. Okay. And we'll make another branch maybe coming up here. And what about if we had one that went like that? You don't want to make these lines too big because you may not want that branch to be as big as this. So be careful when you're making your branch lines. And then we're going to pull, let's do one coming up this way. And the reason I'm doing that is because it's very close to the edge and I want the eye to lead up and over and back into my painting. So now we'll just fill this in. And again, this is the fun part, the nice, where you can sit and be in your own thoughts and your own world with the painting. I'm going to pull him out a little bit more. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put probably about a ½ inch more of ground. I think I made the ground a little too low for my liking. Yeah, I like that better. We'll pull it up. Give this tree something good to anchor into. There we go. And here comes our tree. Okay. So you want your lines really crisp. So if you see them, if your paint's not really thick where you need it to be, go ahead and go back and repaint over that because you want crisp lines on this tree. And let's see, we'll pull, oh no, that's too thick. You know what, I'm gonna come in with a thinner brush, and I'm gonna pull some more branches out up here. We'll do one here. And I like my branches to become thicker once they meet with another branch. I'll do a small guy here, and then we're gonna make where it meets just a little bit thick. And I don't think we'll have, yes, that'll you a little bit more. What about, I'm gonna move my, I like to move my canvas around. Put a little branch coming out this way. There we go. Oop. Cool. All right. Let's do something. This one needs to be thicker here. Here we go. And what do we think? I think, yes, something needs to be here in this blank space. So we're going to put one here. And we'll put something coming up this way. I like that. This is where you get to create. This is where you get to decide, this is my world, how many branches are going to be on my tree, and how do I like it? You know, you can go with technique about, yeah, I want it to draw my eye back in, but you can put as many or as little as you want. I'm looking for another small brush. Here we go. Tinier and tinier with this. I like to get, you can go in and get some really tiny branches on here. Again, though, you want nice, crisp lines. And like I said, because it's a thinner paint, you probably will want to, it's looking on camera pretty opaque, but when I look at it, it's kind of thin. So, and it's whatever you like. I think to get a more dramatic look, you do want it as dark on the forefront as you can get it. Okay, so now let's put some little cute leaves in here. So we're going to work around our branches and just put leaf shapes. Again, we want very crisp lines. You want all your lines to meet back up. And they can be, you know, the leaf shape. We can put half leaves in there and maybe little dots. Because I just think those are cool at the ends. Who knows what those are? They're just decorative. They could be berries. I mean, this is your world. All right, and as we're doing that, you may want to pull out a couple more limbs. Now, what I do say is you don't want big blocks of like, blah, this is just a big block of leaves in your silhouette. The tinier little details add a lot more. So you want to kind of make them small. You can paint on top. Like if I wanted to, let's see, up here maybe, put 3 leaves in a row here. And then I would come up and see how I'm separating them a little bit. Okay, so it still looks like, okay, yeah, that's a big leafy part of the tree, but it's separated, so it adds to the aesthetic. And just build around your branches. Maybe that one's hanging a little bit. Look at that. This is definitely a calm technique. Very easy. This would make a great gift. Okay, let's put a branch coming up this way. Yes. So it's a simple technique. But it looks pretty cool. And see, as our tree is filling out pretty well, we'll do some on this side. Boop. Okay, let's see. This needs to be thicker, I think. Here we go. Wouldn't that be cool? Okay, let's put a little branch coming down this way. And it's kind of hanging, so we'll have some leaves here. This is a good way to learn how to use negative space too, because what we don't think of is the negative space in your artwork is just as important as the space that you're feeling. So this is a good exercise in using your negative space in your art where you don't have to feel everything. We're working with minimal brush strokes. So it's in that vein of, oops, less is more. Again, though, if you want your tree to be super full of leaves, then it is your tree, and you do that because this is your artwork. Bam. I like that it's kind of sagging, almost like, what are those trees called? I think weeping willows kind of thing. Okay, there we go. I'm going to put a small, little branch on this side. What if I feel like I need a branch here. I know I just talked about less is more and it's so true, but I just feel like, what do you think? I do. Okay, let's go ahead and do it. So we're going to just put a branch here. And so I'm just going to act like it's on the other side and we're going to pull it down and make it thicker at the bottom where it meets the tree. Make sure that it is a crisp line. And then let's have some branches come on the side of it and maybe this side too. Yeah, like that. Okay. And then we're going to come in with our leaves. Okay. Okay, I think that looks pretty cool. So I'm going to come back down here and work in my grass because I want him to have a little grass. So we're just going to take the same little brush, detail brush, and put lines going across where we already painted. I don't know if you can see that. Let me come in a little bit more. Okay. And then I would just all the way down do that line pattern in what we already painted because it actually gives texture to what you've already done. So even though we've already painted this part, we're going to do lines the whole way down. No rhyme or reason. Do not do them straight, like any way but straight. I know, just sideways, left sideways, right sideways. You don't want them straight because when have you ever seen really straight grass? You don't see it. So we're doing it fun, fast. Don't think about how you're doing this line. Don't do that line too straight because it's going to look crazy. Fast strokes, bam, all over the place. Okay. I like it. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit thicker brush and I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more black in here. Just fill that up. If you wanted to go ahead and make the trunk thicker, you can. But you want to make sure it's nice and opaque because we're actually going to come back with a little bit of highlight and highlight that. So I want that to go ahead and get it on there and drying. I think I will pull out my trunk a little bit. Just a little bit. You just want to take the time to make sure your lines, are opaque and crisp. I'm going over. Okay. All right. So now we have that pretty much done. Let's see. I'm going to go in. What do you think? I feel like I should. I feel like I'm going to put another branch over here. No, I don't like that. Let's do. Okay. Okay. And now I see this branch has nothing. Let me give him a little. And I may put a leaf here or there. Just a couple more. I like my little dots coming off the ends. I'm gonna give him a leaf up here, bam. Okay. Now I'm going to put a couple, because the stripes are our background, they're our sky. I'm gonna put a couple little birds in there. Let me move this for a second, because this is how I know you did the birds with the M, like that. That's okay. But actually, if you do them where it's one side is longer and the other side shorter, it looks like they're flying at an angle, and in your painting that's going to look better. So you can do the little M kind of thing, that looks fine too, but see how, I'm going to show you in this. So I wanted to show you over here, but once we put it in here, it's going to give a little bit more perspective and thought into it, because it's just a simple brush stroke, right? We ain't putting any kind of detail into that really. It's so simple, but if we have them coming at an angle, which is like, now we're going to decide where our birds are. I'm going to start with one down here, and then I'll probably work them this way. So we're going to start with one down here, and we don't know where he's flying, but he's going to have that shape of the long turn, and then jutting up the small one. Okay, but he looks crazy by himself, so we do have to put more. So we'll put one up here. And then maybe, let's see, okay, we have one coming here, I think. Yeah, like that. And okay, and see also too, we're gonna make them different sizes, because the smaller ones are gonna be out in front. We'll put one here. And he's smaller because he's way far out there, okay? Perfect, see, serene, easy peasy. I'm gonna come back in with a very small brush. I'm gonna wet it a little bit so it comes to a nice point. And I'm going to get my gold. And this is going to bring our background together, because we have our stripes, so it's kind of like, what is that? It's kind of abstract. And we're gonna take our gold, get our brush, get it on our brush, and lightly go in different places. So we're putting our little dots, which you can't see, but I'm gonna pull them up. And randomly put our stars in the sky. Everywhere, not just the blue stripes, but the silver white stripes too, because this is going to pull our background together. And not big, just small. And we'll sit there, and I'm going to put it back down, and you can see kind of how my hand movements go. I am using my pinky to hold against the painting. You don't want to lay your hand on it. And just boop, 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 wherever. Some clusters, put them different sizes. Some are going to be bigger, smaller, randomly. You don't have to be like 13 on this stripe, 13 on this stripe. Don't do that. In between, don't forget, in between the birds and in between these, there's still going to be stars in between the branches, so we have to go everywhere with it. And this is another thing, you want to balance it, but the night sky isn't super balanced either. So, if you have more clusters in one part, that's fine. Just make sure that we have some behind the trees, branches, and in between these birds. Okay. Then you'll know when you're done. And the cool thing about this, if you're sitting there looking at your painting later, guess what? You can just pull out and you're like, oh my gosh, I've left some out over here. You can just pull it back out and add right to it. As long as you don't, well, if you glaze over your paintings, you won't be able to do that, but we don't do that. So we can just pull them back out and add to them. Okay, I like that. I think I've got a fair amount. Let me pull it up and see if you can see them. Yes. Okay. It's stubble. Like, it's not in your face, but it's still very calming and pretty. Okay, so now we're going to still take our thin brush and we are going to go in. Hopefully most of that's dry. And I'm going to do a little detail around my silhouette. So I'm going to start with these birds. You're going to decide where the light or where the shine, where you want it from. So I'm going to come from this side. So I'm going to do the under part of the birds, the under part of the branches, this side of the trunk. But guess what? You could make the light come from this side if you wanted to, and then you would do this side of the branches, the upper part of the bird, the upper part of the grass. So this is another thing where we're going to think about perspective, because you don't want to start from one side and doing one side and then change because it ruins the effect. And so I'm going to take it and we're going to put a little line of gold under the wing of the birds. And we're going to have the light or shine coming from here. So we're going to go under these branches. And you see me moving my canvas around. Don't be afraid. That helps you. Okay. So I'll do the side of this branch. And I did this in another painting that we've done. I think the Purple Moon one has the highlights on it. So let's come up. And of course, we can't forget the leaves. So we're going to go around on, you don't have to hit every leaf, but just a couple. We're going to put the little highlight on. And so we're going to come up under this branch. And then, yes, under here. And this side. So we're going to pull it up on the side of our tree. That's why we wanted those black lines so crisp. Because if they're not, this wouldn't look as good. There we go. Alright, and even every once in a while in this grass, we're going to come back, not every single blade, because that's too much, but every once in a while we are going to put a little highlight. See that? Okay, see how that adds a little fun to it? And then again, still up here, every branch, we're going to come from this side over. Very like back to back to the silhouette black line. You don't want to leave any space. It's got to be almost on top of it, like it's shadow. And then don't forget a couple leaves in there. We're going to add a little. Make sure to get in here and the little crooks of the tree. Okay, another cool idea I had is this could be a gift for somebody, and you could actually paint somebody's name here or put a nice, work on your lettering, and you could put, a nice word like love there. But we're not going to do that today because I'm going to keep it simple. But I'm just saying, added ideas to this. You could put your name here, loved one's name, love, calm, all kinds of good things. So we're almost done. Good. Okay, my thin brush. I've got a few more gold lines to put on here. That one. There it is, okay. basically that's it. You can use this technique and do anything as the silhouette on the front. Like if you wanted to do just a heart or anything as long and darker than whatever hue you use on the back. And I hope you guys have fun playing around with this technique and using it, creating. I'd love for you guys to send in some of the pictures that you're doing at home. We'd love to see them. Until next time, bye-bye and stay safe, guys.